Welcome to the Piano-lympics introduction and informational video. If you found your way to this video, I'm guessing that you are a piano teacher looking for something a little extra special this year to engage your students, increase practice, review skills. Maybe you're looking for something over the summer to keep them enrolled, keep them coming back, and keep them practicing. Or maybe you're looking for an alternative to something like a piano camp, an outside competition, or a recital. If any of these things in any way describe you, you have come to the right place, my friend. In this video, I'll let you know what the Piano-lympics is, who it works best for right off the bat, so you're not wasting your time watching an entire video if it's not for you. We'll talk about all of the benefits for you and your students of running a competition like the Piano-lympics. I will give you an overview of how I run this event in my studio. I'll answer some commonly asked questions, and I'll also give you a quick overview of the products that I have related to the Piano-lympics, which would be the materials toolkit for teachers or the full step-by-step course. So whether you are an on a budget DIY type of piano teacher who just wants some tips and ideas, or if you're someone who's never done anything like this in your studio and you really need like that step-by-step, where do I start? No matter where you're at on the spectrum, I'm hoping that there'll be something in this video that you find valuable, and that is my goal today. Of course, while you're watching this video, if you come up with any questions that I don't address, pop them down in the comment section and I would be happy to answer any additional questions. And there will be some helpful links down below as well. So I'll introduce myself. I am Phoenix. I am known as the Tattooed Piano Teacher. I have a YouTube channel, a blog, and an online store of music theory resources. So perhaps you have met me before online. And if it's your first time seeing my face, welcome. So nice to meet you. What is the Piano-lympics? The Piano-lympics is, in summary, a 10-week in-studio competition where students train and perform a specific technical skill and review and test on a specific theory or knowledge topic. The Piano-lympics is perfect for big studios with lots of different piano teachers and lots of students who want to make it into a big event with outside judges and fancy awards and a live ceremony. It's also good for one teacher studios who have a good number of students and it's just them running this whole thing all by themselves. And of course, any studios in between. As far as student participants go, the Piano-lympics works great with students of all ages and all levels. And we'll talk about those younger students a little more specifically when we get to the levels. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits for you and your studio and the students and the parents and everybody. So benefits of doing a in-studio competition like the Piano-lympics, benefits for you or for the piano teacher, let's say. Benefit number one, first of all, those boring skills that we all have to work on as piano players and those boring theory pages that we have to assign suddenly become fun. Suddenly they're asking for more. Miraculous. In general, it's just a fun break from the routine. It's an excuse to spend some extra time on technique and theory, which sometimes get brushed under the rug, especially in 30-minute private lessons. And you'll see an increase overall in your students practicing. What are the benefits for your studio as a whole? Whether you're a one-teacher studio or multi-teacher studio, you'll have an increase in student retention. If you do this over the summer, students are going to want to participate. They won't want to miss this. So if their parents were kind of on the fence about quitting for the summer, this might do the trick. And if you do it at another time of the year, it'll still keep students going. Now they're extra motivated and they're not going anywhere until this competition is done. And hopefully they'll stay longer than that. Obviously, this is a little bit of extra income. You can charge students whatever you want as a per student participation fee, and it gives your studio some educational credibility. Parents love to see something like this. If you have a website where you are drawing in potential students, if you can say, hey, we have this annual or this biannual piano competition, it's called the Piano-lympics, it'll be, ooh, Olympics, you know, it just makes you seem like a more serious studio to prospective families as well. Benefits for the students. They are going to see an increase in their finger independence and dexterity as they are working on their chosen skill, and they're going to have a concentrated mastery of whatever specific theory topic they are assigned or choose. In some cases, this can spark something in them. So a student who was really reluctant to actually play that warm-up that you assigned them, after seeing how cool it is for their fingers to get faster, for those chord shapes to get easier, they might actually turn into a student who loves technique. And same with theory. You might have a student who hates doing their theory book. But give them a little competition and they'll do as many worksheets as you want. Each level has that milestone progress checklist, and students are getting these like tangible milestones as they progress, which is super motivating. And of course, they're getting that performance experience. Maybe they've never been judged in a music competition before, and maybe they don't have a ton of opportunities to perform out in the world. This is another setting where they are getting that little bit of healthy pressure, and they're going to get used to performing in a, let's not say high pressure situation, but you know what I mean. And finally, there are benefits for parents as well. They get to see some tangible progress. Sometimes the road to piano mastery is such a long road. Have you ever had a parent who was like, when are they going to XYZ? You know, whatever they see as like worth my money or whatever. Sometimes it can seem like they're just spinning their wheels in the same method book for a year. But this is going to be like they come home day one with that arpeggio. It's going to sound rough. By the 8th week, parents are hearing like, oh wow, they got the metronome going. They're doing 12 different scales or arpeggios. It's a tangible like, wow, cool. They're making progress. And it also gives them a chance to cheer their kids on, getting to say, hey, you won, you're amazing, or, you know, getting to console them if they are not the winner. All that good sportsmanship type learning that they get in whatever sports events they play. Here they get a little bit of it in their piano lessons as well. So just to give you an idea of the potential profit of running a Piano-lympics in your studio, if you were to charge a $20 student participation fee per student, if you had 25 students, you would be making $500 up to $900 if you had a bigger studio. If you charge $25 per student, you'd be looking at $625 to over $1,000 in profit. And if you charge $30, which is what I recommend if you want a little bit of a bigger production, perhaps a live ceremony, then you would be looking at $750 to $1,350 in profit for your studio. And then keep in mind that once you get the materials and you get this running, you learn how to do this, you can do this for years to come, and that profit will just grow as your studio grows. And keep in mind that that doesn't include any expenses that go along with it. Even if you keep it simple, of course, you will have like the ink and the paper to print things out, or you can make it a big production where you're hiring outside judges, you are renting a venue for the recital / live ceremony, you're buying all the medals and everything in between. You can really customize this, keep your expenses low so your profit is higher, or go all out and make it a big production and make it something for students and parents to really remember. It's really up to you. So how does the Piano-lympics work? I'm going to give you a super brief overview of how it goes, and then I'll go into more detail about like how to actually do this. In week 1, students are picking one technique event and one a theory event with you, the teacher, helping them pick. And students are also assigned to a team, and we'll talk more about that in a second. And then weeks 2 through 8 are spent training on that skill and that theory event that they have chosen. They'll build up check marks on their milestone sheet, which will count as points towards their team's total. And then in week 9, students are judged on their skill and they take their final theory test and get their final scores. And in week 10, awards are given out to first, second, third place, and any other awards that you would like to give out. Oh, and the team winner is also announced and awarded. Now let me tell you a little bit more about how this actually runs in my studio. Personally, I have always run the Piano-lympics every other year throughout the summer. So I run it over the course of 10 weeks. For 8 weeks, students are working on their chosen event, so their technical skill event and their theory knowledge event. They focus on those, review those, and make progress on them every week for 8 weeks. In the 9th week, they are testing on those skills. So for the technical skills, they are actually performing something on the keys as their final test. And for the theory event that they have chosen, they are completing a written final test, which is scored. Awards are then given out at the end of the, in my case, summer to first, second, third, place winners, and also to students who show special abilities, special effort, and other things. I try to make it so that everyone kind of gets at least a little bit of an award for their efforts. There's also a team component to the Piano-lympics, which is optional, but my students really get into this. I split up my students into teams. For me, it's 4 teams, and that's actually red, yellow, blue, green is what we call the teams. And in addition to their progress for their individual events that they're going to be judged on, they're also building up points as they reach each milestone on their events, and those points go towards their team. The winning team gets a special extra team award, and sometimes they throw them a little party or an extra little treat or something like that. The team component is really not any extra work for me, and it really motivates the students extra to complete their milestones. So what do I mean by these checkboxes or milestones? Let me show you an example. This is from Scales Level 1. Scales Level 1 would be for younger students who would just be playing pentascales or 5-finger scales. And just a quick note about beginners. If you have a student who is very young and who has just started, you might want to make a modified category for them to excel in, because even the level 1 scales category does include all chromatic scale options. And so if I do have some newbie students, I will put them in a group of their own, and depending on their ability and their experience, I will have them just learn the first page or just the first 2 pages, and then they would be competing against themselves. And if you just have one newbie, you can just have them be in a category all their own, and they're guaranteed first place, but don't tell them that until the awards ceremony. So here is the milestone checklist that I would print out for a level 1 scale student. You'll notice that they'll be working towards proficiency on each individual scale until they have them all learned, memorized, and at a reasonable tempo. Every checkbox that we check off becomes a point for their team. And of course, each milestone that they complete is helping them master the skill for their final test as well. The checklists are extensive to complete in 8 weeks, so they really challenge even your most ambitious students. And I always tell the students that hardly anyone completes all of the boxes. It's just a goal to strive for. And if they are a really sensitive student, sometimes I even tell them these ones are extra credit. So here are all of the different scale levels. Level 1, as we said, is all of the major pentascales, and then level 2 is the minor pentascales. Level 3 is major 1-octave scales. Level 4 would be natural 1-octave scales. Level 5 is harmonic 1-octave scales. Level 6 is major 2-octave scales. Level 7 is harmonic 2-octave scales. And then the final level would be melodic 2-octave scales. But students don't have to pick a scale. They can pick arpeggios or chords instead. Let's take a brief look at what arpeggios would be. Level 1 is just arpeggios within the confines of that pentascale in the major. And then level 2 is same but for minor. Level 3 would be major left-hand crossover arpeggios, and then level 4 would be minor crossover arpeggios. Level 5 is major 1-octave arpeggios, so here they're doing the whole octave with one hand. Level 6, same but minor. Level 7 is major 2-octave arpeggios, and level 8, the final level, is minor 2-octave arpeggios. And if they'd like to do chords, level 1 is major pentascales going from 1 to 5/7 to 1, and this 5/7 is the 2-note version. If you're familiar with Piano Adventures, this would be what they're used to in the adventure warm-up in level 1 and 2A. Level 2 is also 1-5-7-1 with the 2-note 5/7 chord in the minor pentascales. Level 3, they'll be doing major 1-5-7-1. Now they are doing the full 3-note 5/7 chord. Level 4 is the same but minor. Level 5 is a major 1-4-1-5-7-1, and level 6, same but minor. In level 7, they're going to be doing major inversions, and level 8 is minor inversions. So that is all of the technique or skill categories. Each student would be picking one from all of those categories I listed. So just to be clear, they don't do a scale and an arpeggio and a chords. They pick one. And the reason I do this is because A, it really focuses on one specific skill and they master it. And 2, 8 weeks goes a lot quicker than you think it will, especially if you do it over the summer. In addition to their skill category that they choose, they will also be picking a theory category. The 2 theory subcategories would be notes and intervals, or chords and key signatures. There are 7 levels in each. Let's just briefly go over those so you get an idea of what they could be tested on. In all of these, they will be identifying, like labeling, and drawing. Level 1 is the most basic in notes and intervals. It's just identifying steps versus skips. Even the little ones that haven't learned all the notes or the intervals, they can still do this because they can identify those steps and skips. Level 2 is notes on the staff, just going from that bass C, which is C3, up to the treble C, which is C5. Level 3 would be doing intervals, seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths. Level 4 is notes on the staff going from the bottom of the staff to the top of the staff. This would be G2 on the bottom line of the bass clef up to G5, the top of the treble C scale. Level 5 is intervals focusing on sixths, sevenths, and octaves. Level 6 is notes off the staff, but just focusing on those inner notes, so low treble clef or high bass clef. And the final level 7 would be ledger lines, but outside of the staff. Really high treble clef, really low bass clef. They can also choose from the chords and key signatures category. Level 1 is major triads. Level 2 is major and minor triads. And these are just basic root position chords for the first couple levels. In level 3, we get triad inversions, identifying what triad it is and also if it's root first or second inversion. In level 4, we're identifying major key signatures, and in level 5, major and minor key signatures. In level 6, identifying the major 1, 4, and 5, 7 chords within the easier key signatures, let's say. And level 7 is definitely the hardest of the theory. That is dominant 7th chords, only for the brave, those high schoolers that need something really challenging. So again, just to clarify, each student would be picking one from all of those technical skill levels that I listed. And in addition to that, one theory level from the ones I just listed a moment ago. So here's the timeline of how the summer goes. About a month before, I let parents and students know so they can start getting hyped up. I'll put things like this all over the studio, getting them excited about it. We pick our technique and theory categories in their lesson to make sure that I'm suggesting just the right thing for them. And as I mentioned, over an 8-week period within their lessons, they will be working on that checklist, improving their skills on the technical skill event, and completing practice worksheets for the theory event. When we get to week 8 into week 9, each student will be testing. In most cases, this will just happen within their lessons, and you as their teacher can absolutely be their judge. For the theory event, they are simply going to be filling out their writing test, and then you grade it. And then there is a judge's sheet, which is included in the toolkit, specifically designed for every single level of every technique event. So you print it off, fill in their name, and it tells you exactly which ones to quiz them on, and then you grade them from there. That way everybody is performing the same scales or the same arpeggios within their level, so it is fair for everyone. Between week 9 and week 10, you as the head of this event will collect all of the scores and determine who is the first, second, and third place winners in each category and each level. I usually order music medals in gold, silver, and bronze to hand out. And I like to do a live ceremony, which is like half giving out awards and half recital at the end of the summer, which is really fun. If you don't want to go to all that trouble, honestly, you do not have to. You can order a simple award and give it to the students, either in a small group party if you want to do that, or it's just in their individual lessons. You could do that as well. This entire event can really be as big or as small as you want it to be. There's a lot of flexibility within this. Now, if you do decide to purchase the toolkit, here's what you're going to be getting. Of course, you're going to be getting all of the sheets for all of the levels and categories that I mentioned. So those are all available for you to just print and go once you pick the levels with your students. I've also included answer keys for every single worksheet, final review, and final test that appears in all of the categories and all of the levels of the theory. So you'll be able to check over those worksheets and tests really quickly. As I mentioned, I've included judges' rating sheets, whether you're the judge or you hire a judge or you ask another teacher to do it. Doesn't matter because the rating sheets are done for you. All you have to do is find the correct level, print it out and put on the student's name, and just make notes about their performances. And in addition to that, I've also included lots of instructional pages, a welcome page that kind of explains where to begin, a timeline that shows you, okay, on this week, you need to do this. So this really becomes just a done for you studio competition. And I've also included some promotional materials. So if you want to print out these little letters, I've got them in small, medium, and large. This is the medium size. I also have a poster that you can edit in Canva and print out for your studio. There is also a brochure that you can edit to your studio's name and your dates. Print it out, give it to the students to take home. I've also got a letter you can send to the parents. I've got instructions you can give to the judge if you do end up hiring an outside judge. If you're a multi-teacher studio, I've got full teacher instructions that you can just print and hand to your teachers. They read it over, they know everything they need to know. And of course, if you're a one-person show, then all you have to do is just read all of it so you know what's going on. Now, to be completely honest with you, if you get the toolkit, it has, I think it's like 576 pages or something crazy like that. I have organized it into folders, so it will arrive on your computer as a zip file. You open up the zip file and it's like a folder of folders. Everything is organized. Here's the sheets for your students. Here's the sheets for the judges. There's also a open me first file that like welcomes you and like, okay, here's where you do first. And there's also a table of contents so you know where to find what file to print out when you need it. Now, if you like the idea of the Piano-lympics, but it's still a little overwhelming, consider taking my course where if you like listening to me and just like, okay, can you just say it so I don't have to read it all? Or if you want extra tips of like me just conversationally saying, yeah, this is how I did this and this is how I did that. Here's the answer to this question. If you like that sort of information absorption over getting a bunch of PDF files you have to go through, then absolutely take the course. That link is down below. If you take the course, you get all of the materials, okay? So don't worry that you're missing out on anything or having to purchase both. The course includes all of the materials. So I hope that you are inspired to try either the Piano-lympics in your studio, or maybe something similar. If you're a DIY teacher and you're not ready to spend a dime today, hey, that's fine. I'm glad you watched this whole video and I'm really glad you're here. You can absolutely create something similar to this if you have the time and the energy and inspiration to do so. And if you're someone who's like, okay, I get this. All I need is all those things to print out. I don't have time to create all these worksheets. Just give me the stuff. I'll print it. I'll do it myself. Then I would suggest purchasing the toolkit, which will be all the files that you need organized for you. And if you are like, this is all too much, I love the idea of it, but holy cow, please, Phoenix, just hold my hand and tell me what the next step is. Don't give me 600 pages of things to read through. I gotcha. Take the course. It'll come with all the materials in the toolkit, and you'll get me on the other side of the screen helping you every step of the way. So please leave a comment if you have any additional questions about the Piano-lympics or about the toolkit or the course, or you just want to say hi, please comment down below. And if you do the Piano-lympics, please let us know how it went, because if your students love it as much as my students love it, you are going to end up doing this every year, I'm sorry to tell you, because they beg me to do it again. All right, I'm going to stop talking your ear off now. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I hope to see you on another video very soon. Bye for now.